Can I start?
Yeah, I guess we can continue. Yes.
Can I start? So, I'm Berta from Portugal. Universidade de Berta is where I study my PhD. And I want to thank you, all of you, for all the things I've learned with you. I'm not an expert in computers or everything you explained us, but I'm an user, and I use the devices, like I use the microwaves, the washing machine, so I do it intuitively. And as I said you, I'm an old teacher. And when I began teaching, there was no computers, nothing. And last week, we talked about what to do with the old teachers in school who don't want to learn. In Portugal, we had a program. Now it's in standby, sort of, because of the budget. But all the teachers had formation with the new resources of the internet, computers, to use in our classes. Like that happens in everywhere in the world, some teachers use it, some go to these formations and don't use. So my subject is from B-learning to Web 2.0 in the language classroom. And you may think, why this subject? Why this? Because I teach long years adults. That means people who work all day, and after they work, since 7 o'clock p.m. to midnight, they went to school. And it's difficult for them to go to school. So I had a problem. And I searched a solution. So they have very specific learning goals. They, some of them, the students, were obliged to go to school to have a certificate, to continue to work in what they worked. But their problem is sometimes they couldn't attend to school. And I had students that for a week, a month, they don't attend to school. And sometimes they wouldn't come anymore, because when they come, they don't understand what we are doing, nothing. So, like I had a problem, I went to talk with my colleagues in school, because at that time we hadn't had yet the formation. So I went to my colleagues from the department of the computers and programs and all, and I talked with them about the problem I had. And they showed me, at the time, a learning management system, Docus. It was before Moodle. We had Moodle at the time, but not very explored. And they showed me this program and B-learning. And I wanted, with my project in my school, to create a bridge between the school and the students. So I called that be-learning. I know it's not the really term for the thing I did, but it was a sort of. So this project is with a group of students of secondary school, and at the time we used Docus. So I told you I'm not an expert. I talked with my colleagues, and they explained me, and I use it intuitively. So like other tools. And I have the example of that I made. So that was the last year before, if they wanted, went to university. And that was a course organized in the models, in the chapters, and they had to they must have they must finish all the models to achieve their goal. So I use that. Here we have all the subjects of the different, it's Portuguese language, literatures, most of that. And we had the description of the course. I hope I'm not going to jail after this presentation, because I used at the time all the things I had in the internet. I posted there all the information, and they could at home, or I remember at the time I had a student that was military, and he was obliged, because our president went I don't know where, but him as military was obliged to go there, and he could have the information, do the paperwork, everything, and send me by this with the docus at the time. Sorry. Well, so the students could print the text I posted there. They could save them, and also all sorts of resources, all sorts of tools you have been teaching me last week, and they could do their work wherever it was possible for them. They had, because I posted them, also addresses for particular research. If they want to research on, for instance, National Library in Portugal, they had a site and they could go there. Or Instituto Camões, they could also get their information. That's only examples of, as most students who attend these courses, they have problems with the evaluation. So here they could send me the papers, the exercises they made, and they had the choice to do it by email or in the Dropbox on the system. So when they put it on the Dropbox, they also could choose public information or only for me. Um, I had all sorts of exercises, true, false exercises, multiple choice exercises, filling in the spaces, always of the possibility for the students and for me to check the results. They could know if they had all the answers right or wrong, and when they came to school, they made papers in the school with that information. These studies they have done all the time. Like all schools, whole process of learning, we had also the playful part. And we had a space where we could debate other things than that goes extra class of Portuguese, of literature, everything. And like this is an example. We talked about art. So that was the project in the Portuguese class. And the next year, after the first experience, I changed to Moodle. And I did it with my French students. Also, adult students who didn't have the time to go to school every day. What? What? So, in French is French classes. We made visits to Paris, to Quebec, everywhere, and was very ludic, cultural. And one thing that it's important to me, my students with this, they had success. They finished the courses. Before that, most every year, half of the students desist. They never came. They the first term till December, they intended to do it, but it's difficult because if you work from 8 at the morning to 6 or 7 p.m., it's hard to go to school and stay there working till midnight. So with this, I had success, and it's wonderful for me. So, like in the other project, and one time again, I say, I want not to go to jail, but I use that. It's what I had in the time. And here the students could choose their exercise débutant, élémentaire, intermédiaire. This means beginners, and they choose the exercise they wanted to do. They could also see the, I don't know the word in English, bande-annonce. Bande-annonce, ça veut dire, excuse me, that means the clip presenting a film. So, yes, a small video. The trailer, yes. La bande-annonce. Alors, sorry. So, we use it in classroom, and it's very interesting because after that we can speak, we can use little forms. They could tell me by their words the story of the film, anything. And the discourse is organized, as I told you, by models. And there were different teams, la press, radio, television, all sorts of things. And for me, internet is very good with that. So to work with the difference between the French spoken in Europe and that from Quebec, I used the tool that Radio France Internationale nous give us free, and they could use it. So I hope I can show you. No, it's not that. Yeah. Voilà. So they go to the pages of Radio France Internationale, and I choose Quebec, but there are also the news of the day and exercises. So they're listening. That a little. Can you listen?
La place royale.
No?
C'est le cœur de Québec.
Thank you. So.
C'est ici même qu'on a eu la fondation de Québec en 1608. Vous voyez devant l'église, il y avait une petite plaque qui dit que sur ce terrain, Champlain fonda Québec en 1608, berceau de la civilisation française.
Non, ça marche pas? Pardon. Where to?
15 kiosques d'église. C'est là que les archéologues ont découvert l'emplacement de la seconde habitation de
Bon. They listen the text, and then after that they could answer. I'm gonna say, I don't know, like that, and at the end, voila, they can repeat it, and like the other exercise, they have elementary, beginners, advanced, and they choose, and they can train the listening, and after that, the reading and the vocabulary essential. So, where am I? Here. I did it with the Radio France Internationale, but also with the visits. It's difficult for my students to go to Paris, to go to... And with that, we could visit, for instance, Vaux-le-Vicomte. It's a beautiful palace near Paris. We could also visit the Louvre, the Musée d'Orsay, whatever. Yes. With that experience, I found that these resources are part of the daily life of the students, and they consider that as another school supply, another thing they could use. Also, they use the platform as complement to classroom teacher. And as I told you, that contributed to the success of my students. And that was very important to me. Students find it was advantage because that allowed to study everywhere, and they felt that the support of the teacher was more effectively. They didn't have difficulties to use that because they were not only students with in the courses of informatics. They were also students of learning for B with the children in the kindergarten. So informatics was not yes, and they expertise they didn't. So educational community proves that we are continually changing, and this is an open to change and to innovation. And education does not exist in isolation from society in general. We have to use the tools of every day in school also. So that led me to Web 2.0 because I started with this experience, and then I found that my students, because now I'm teaching students on the regular age, and I found that they have all sorts of tools, all sorts of things. So they cannot live without their cell phones, their YouTube, anything. And the school should promote learning involving social construction of knowledge. So, once more, with that, I went now not only talk with my colleagues of the Department of New Technologies, but I inscrevi-me. I signed up in a little course promoted by Instituto Camões. It was Portuguese as a foreign language with the Web 2.0. So I found we found in schools generations very familiar with the use of new technologies. I learned also with my students, because when I have problems with the computer, sometimes they help me. I must tell you, in Portugal, we had also a technology program. Delilah this afternoon with the goes to speak about that, but I must tell you, all the students had access to a computer, all the teachers also, and this computer with the connection to internet. And that was a big step, because all the students have, in my school, all the classes have at least one computer. And we can work with that in school. And we have also some classrooms in the informatics that they have a computer in the classroom for each 2 students. They could work in group with the computer in the class. So we have, with the Web 2.0 tools, new forms of communication, new ways of working, and new models of teaching and learning. Then I discovered some tools. Last week also, I have a lot of things I want to experience with my students. Like I told you, I'm not an expert, and I'm not presenting nothing new, but my experience with the tools you showed me. And I made, like we do here, activities using a blog. The students create their blogs, and because I had a class, it was students, a professional course with students they don't like very much learn French, and they only liked computers, programs, things like that. And I talked with my colleagues who teach that class, and with the blog, they made a e-portfolio. I obliged them to make that because I needed to have information. I needed to have them to work, and was the solution I got to that problem with the blog. I showed them some contents. I showed them some exercises, and they, every day of the class, at the end, I tell them, you must put in the blog the information of that class. So I use activities as hot potatoes, the exercises, the web quest, that was for Portuguese literature, the Google site, and that was an experience. I only had that once and never more. We visit Paris with Second Life. It was very complicated, but I experienced that. They showed me the tool and I used it. Google Docs, and the blog I gave to my students. So I'm sorry that's in Portuguese, but we have all sorts of subjects, because I give that in the first day of school in September. I give to my students this address to this site, and here they could access to all sorts of information. So I have, for instance, le coin de la musique francophone. Ça veut dire, that means the French music corner, and they can listen, and we sometimes in classroom we heard a song and do all the work after that, and they can listen here. Another time the press, and something I want to show you. For instance, where is it? Esther Queiroz, because it's an author they must study, and they can also. I post here all the information, all sorts of texts they can consult, read everything, and they can do this thing. Because Esther Queiroz had a house. Esther Queiroz was an ambassador of Portugal in the 19th century, and most of his life he was not in Portugal. And when he died in Paris. His family put all his things in that house in the north of Portugal. So they can visit, and for instance, when they go there, that doesn't work. Why does they are here, then they can go there and see the a painter that one of his friends gave him. They can see the table where he write. He was a little man, but he write en paix, standing, and he launched the papers on the floor, and his little kid marked them 1, 2, 3, and put that in order. So I teach in Lisbon, and that house is 300 kilometers from Lisbon. It's not easy to go there with a group of students because it's too expensive. And that is the way they can see these sort of things that is also important, like here where we have the cards, the little cards where he marked all the subjects of the things he could use in his books. So that was one of things they could do, but now I'm not an expert, I told you. So can do that also. Paris is not in the corner. It's difficult to go there with a group of students, so they could visit like that and get also the information of the interesting points in Paris, like that, Tour Eiffel, La Défense, anything, Arc de Triomphe, n'importe quoi. All the subjects. It's my default. Sorry. So, and I'm quite finishing, and I'm hoping they have also. One thing I want to show you. My students have to study the one of the books of our Nobel Prize, Saramago. He died 5 years ago, but they can see. It's an author very difficult for my students. And with this, because this is a story for kids, he also wrote this story. And I hope I don't go to jail, but I'm showing you. I hope. That don't work. Don't work. Sorry, it's my computer because I opened all those sorts of things. I'm not an expert. Here we go, I hope. So, no. What have I done? Here. Mas eu quero avançar.
Pequenas, sabem poucas palavras e não gostam de usá-las complicadas.
This is the voice of the author. And this is a story for kids.
Escrever essas histórias, mas nunca fui capaz de aprender e tenho pena.
Oh. And that's a very beautiful movie for kids. But the ecological, yes. And because when we start, as I told you, is a very difficult author. And they say, I don't understand, it's too much difficult, I will never do it. And then I started always with that. And I say, if a child can understand, you can also do it. It's the abordagens, I don't know. It's a different approach that I experienced, and I want to do it. And to end my presentation, my e-portfolio. I told you I had a course with the Web 2.0, and that was my portfolio with all the things I learned at the time, and that's all. That's all I know. What have I done? That's me. I'm always like that. Sorry, that was the last time.
Yes.
I'm a disaster.
No.
Always like that. So, it's there. Thank you. I have questions there. I have questions there. Do you have questions? Yes. So, Bien sûr, je peux parler en français. C'est ça ce que j'adore faire tout le temps. Alors, thank you for the question. All the... Oui, c'est mieux pour moi de parler en français, c'est plus simple. C'est ce que je fais tous les jours, mais here, I can do it. Oui, j'adore le français, moi aussi. In students' lives. So why to use this project was with the students, adults, older than you, older than me. I had students who were obliged to go to school to have formation because they do the work, but they don't have a certification of their competence. Competencies. Bon. So they were obliged, and education should be done in students' life. So I can uh, I can do that now with students with 18, 16, 13 years old. They go to school every day. They are obliged to go to school, and school is their life. With adults, it's different. They have their lives, their children, their work, everything. And the school is in their lives, but they can't. I told you about the military. He couldn't say to his chief, I won't go. He can't do that. He can't do that. He was obliged to go and to be absent from school 1 month. It's too long, and all the time the adults and everybody. If we go, for instance, here, we step or we miss 2 or 3 days. When we came here, as we had all of this information, we lost. So I don't know if I answered the question. If that is like that, I saw it.
Well, the question was from me, and I wanted somehow to embrace a little bit the discussion about learning management systems in comparison to personal learning environments and so on. I remember 2 years ago, I already somehow tried to convince everybody that we are far ahead of learning management systems in the meaning that they are somehow outdated. Of course, it's some kind
Yes.
of a little bit too strong to say it like this, but I would like to just wanted to give this more wake-up call to everybody to think about, okay, that education can be also something different than using a learning management system. And that's the reason why I somehow started with the discussion in the back channel about learning management systems. Yeah, well, you will have a presentation about personal learning environment, and I guess you will also somehow bring some aspects.
We will try to.
Yeah.
I think it says good to we must pay attention to the student profile. Perhaps in university students with 18, 19, 20 years old prefer face-to-face programs because the personal contact is it's a very important issue. And I don't know if it's something that I share with you. I don't know if in these particular situations they want to move on to online learning if they have nothing else to do. But the life in the university is also an important aspect of this time of our life. When we are working people, when we have a job, or when we are abroad, for example, when we are abroad, so e-learning and online teaching is an important issue, and sometimes is the only way we have to continue our studies. So I think that the student profile is something that is very important when you talk about learning management systems and when we talk about e-learning. Because tomorrow will talk to you. I will share with you my own experience in Open University, and this kind of issues we talk inside about these different problems. But when we talk about e-learning, we must also take care to particular aspects of interaction it's different from face-to-face interaction. There is no other way to say this. But I think the student profile is a very important thing to analyze when we want um, to go on to learning or to function with the learning management system. For example, what Berta has shared with us shows the importance of a learning management system when we work with specific type of students. Perhaps tomorrow we can.
You had a question also?
My question was how to organize the group in Moodle, and then you integrate different web tools.
Yes.
When I make suggestions to our students, let's use a blog on WordPress, let's use YouTube, they always say, oh, how much tools we should use, and we stay on one LMS and use this one. How did you manage it to get all your students on the other tools?
Because I created in the page of the school Moodle, I had a space for my own, and I inserted there some information, but it was difficult, so I created the site in Google Sites. It was much easier for my students to go there than to go to the Moodle platform of the school. So. And yes.
These two tools were the hard.
It was easier for me and for them because as I told you, I'm not an expert. I use and I presented that to my students, and with the Google Sites, it's more easier for me because in Moodle, I don't know some things how to incorporate that.
And are all your students need a Google account to use Google Sites?
They go with their emails, yes. And I give them the address. In the first day of school, I give them the address, and with that they can do it, consult, use, if they want to, because in our schools, all teachers, as in yours, I suppose, have my email address. If they want to ask me questions, send me anything, they do it by email.
But I guess the point is very important. Do you want to sell your soul to Google, to Microsoft, to Apple? Because that's the choices you have, but you are selling yourself somehow.
And we always have discussion about the LMS. We have 4 or 5 LMS at our university, and then the open source platforms. And we have the discussion about I don't have a Google account, I don't have a Facebook account, and not everybody is on the social media. You can't use it in a seminar.
But this site, I give them the address, and they can
use
yes,
site.
Yes. Other questions?
From where do you have this picture? Because it's a great picture. This picture here. From where do you have it? Because it's a brilliant picture.
It's from Google Image. I want to go. Yes. I learned a lot here. So, any other questions?
Can I just ask, because we have so many different countries here, there is something what is called Open ID. which is somehow capable to, you can create an account and then you can use it for a lot of various systems. Is anybody using OpenID?
I tried to, but
Well, if Estonians didn't manage, then the rest of Europe will not manage. So nobody has an OpenID.
Do you have, Thomas?
No.
Why not?
I never looked deep in it, to be honest. I know it exists. But I don't have it.
And the big advantage is just that you just need one account to log in.
Well, that's the basic idea. The problem is it's not supported from all the social media services. So nowadays you have all this login with Facebook, you have your login with Twitter and with Google. Yeah.
But the login is always with the email address. So I would guess they open ID, then I have my email address, so I create a new one. So I don't.
Yes, but there isn't one that supports all these networks you use. Facebook, I don't know, Google, Twitter, they should be all together, but they aren't. There isn't one open ID provider.
But I don't really get it because if I create an email address, I can use this email address for every service I use.
Yes,
the
but
Google, the Facebook, the Twitter. So is it more it's comfortable?
It's like that you log in with your open ID and it helps you log in different sites which you have different passwords and usernames and everything. It gathers all together.
You create once an account, and the idea behind is that you could use this account with all the social media services. But of course, that's against their interest.
So it's like a keychain.
Yep. Yep, exactly.
So, any other? I have sent you. Yes.
I have one more question because you were telling about your experience of Second Life and going to Paris.
It was very difficult.
I
Very.
think I saw it yesterday in the Electronic Museum. I would be interested in your experience in that.
So that was when I have done the course that I told you to learn, and I learned Second Life. Wow, I'm gonna use that with my students. It was chaotic because and the only thing I could do was traverse the street, entering in the church, and it was they wanted to experience, they wanted to go further, but it was chaotic. I only used that once. It was as a student for me when I used that. It was interesting, but in the classroom, it's no. Even with the students older, with me this didn't work. I needed informatic teacher with me all the time to explain to, because I told you at the beginning, I use all these things, like I use the microwaves. There is a button. I experienced like that, but for me as a student was very interesting. I answered. I don't know if I don't know what to tell you about the Second Life as a professional using those tools.
I have a question
To all the group?
yes, does anybody use Second Life? We had big discussions in 2006, 2007, and we thought, oh, we must have the virtual university in Second Life. And I think that Second Life is
In my school, they found that interesting at the beginning, but I don't think, because it's difficult, and with young students it's dangerous because you don't know who all people can be there, and they can talk with other people from everywhere. It's dangerous, and I choose to not use.
You have to create an avatar exactly
Yes.
and now you can use
Yes,
Skype or
no,
other
it's not. I think it's bad.
Yeah, it
It's-
asks for too much personal information.
Yes.
money for an account or for
Yeah.
No.
No,
No.
it's free. But when we want to register, it
Yes.
asks for a lot of personal information so
Yes.
that they get us advertising. No, I didn't create.
Yes, and we have to spend lots of time.
Yes,
To
yes.
spend lots of time and
it's
to have a real second life.
Yes.
it's more suitable
And
for adults.
it is a problem. In the master program about the school librarianship, we want to create a library, a virtual library in Second Life, to share experiences. But most part of people don't want to participate. So because time is it's an important issue.
Yes.
To be there, you must have time.
But have used also last year. I used Vokish. Is Vokish? Yes. The students may have a personage, an avatar, yes. And in French classes, it's wonderful because they write the text, and they listening to the avatar saying what they like. Students with 12, 13 years, they adore it. They want to always. They are always ask me, when will we do another avatar, or when do we have classes like that, because they like it. It's different for them. Yes, it's funny, and they can choose the once again the voice is, if is the Belgian French, the Quebecois French, the French from France. It's wonderful. And they listening with attention to the to see is from there, from
Sometimes we have to write the
phonetic
transcription so
yes.
that the words come out.
Yes. It's very interesting. Any questions? I sent you, I think, no, I didn't. Not yet. Yes. Christina, help me.
Enviar formulário. Assim, aí.
Eu já tinha feito
Tens a
isso.
lista? Tens a lista?
Eu achava que sim. Não é esta?
Sim, enviar. Ali, desliga ali.
Mas eu já enviei. Achei eu. No? Have you got it? No?
Não, mas ela enviou.
It's a lot of traffic today. Probably.
Não, acho que sim. Tens aquilo aberto ali, aquilo. Tens aquilo.
Eu não. Eu não tenho aquilo. Não tenho aí. Não, tenho aqui. Não.
Para mim, eu depois mando para ali.
Sorry.
About competition and also about her remarks about not being an expert and all. I think too often teachers have to keep up with the latest techniques and developments in technology and all, but very seldom do they have support for this and trainings. I don't know if it's the same in Germany or with other countries, but in Romania, just as in Portugal, many times teachers just have to design all sorts of application programs, use them in class with students, but they have no computer literacy, or their computer skills are actually quite low. So you have to
Porque eu não recebi sequer este que eu mandei dali para mim, não chegou.
Porquê?
various other apps that you don't.
Já chegou?
You have to manage it by yourself. So it's a kind of an approximation that you need to do in order to research. And it takes such a long time for the teachers to learn all this by themselves that most of them give up before beginning.
But even not only the teacher, also the students. Well, we talk all the time about the snap generation. All the students nowadays are in the snap generation already. But are they really aware and capable of all this new media which is out right now? I have there a big question mark.
Yes. Okay. Can you get the form of their link control?
I think the same way with me. I'm another generation than my students, but I learn a lot from them. We made project groups, for example, writing blogs in a course, and there's one student who's really good and knows the technical things, and he's the one who's a master in writing blogs, and he explains it to the others, and I learn it from the students. My job is more to be a coach and to organize the learning environment, and then I'm coach and learner. But you can't learn everything in once when you have hands-on time. So you have to
When you work with adults, yes, but when you work with knowledge, you learn because
Yes.
I don't want to bore you with Second Life, but I'm really fascinated and I was really impressed with the presentation. Because I'm not a foreign language teacher, but I can imagine that you can engage students a lot. If I could go to Paris and you can teach in this room or visual room things and maybe history, I don't know. Yeah, phrases. It would be.
It's interesting, but it's difficult for me to use that in classroom.
So my question was, if it would be easier.
Sure, I would like.
Actually, the concept is also used in therapy, in psychotherapy. The concept of desensibilization in virtual reality, and so far the studies, the research shows that it is effective. For example, for people who have phobias, specific phobias, it's a kind of virtual reality therapy that is actually working.
But do you still need Second Life, or do you have already a Second Life in the virtual world?
Question for lunch.
Anything else? Thank you.
just ask you a couple of things before everybody will run to the lunch?